The question really is for the rest of the world now, because Palestinians are doing their part. They're doing their part by not surrendering, which is really their victory in that sense. But the rest of the world needs to do much more than what it is doing, and I just don't mean the Western governments. I really talking about what you and I can do and what people can do in any part of the world. That we really now need to focus what we did against South Africa, the question of an apartheid state and therefore boycott, disinvestment, sanctions campaign. I think that really needs to pick up much more than what it is, and I think it needs to pick up in India too.
With respect to India particularly, but in some other aspects also, there is one difference, that the orientation of South African foreign economy as well as military relations was almost exclusively towards the West. Israel's biggest arms purchaser is India. Israel's biggest military strategic alliance in the world after the United States is with India. So you're in a very, very different kind of situation in which sitting in India, in terms of divestment and boycott and so on of South Africa, you really couldn't do very much because your government had no relationships with them. Whereas because of the very special relationship that we have, that India has developed, and that, as you know, is an integral part of the kind of relationships we have with the United States itself and our general orientation towards the West. So this is also a fairly stable relationship unless it gets destabilized by building a popular movement against it. And it's a bipartisan policy. It's not BJP versus the Congress. It's a bipartisan policy of the Indian establishment, very popular in the military establishment, and so on. So you really need a popular movement. But you can have a popular movement on this issue precisely because the extent to which our state is involved with Israel.
Yeah, in fact, that brings out a much larger set of issues, that it's really the strategic relationship with the United States, with Israel, that's really in question. And unless we can build a movement against that, probably just building a movement against Israel is not going to be sufficient. But even on the much more narrow grounds, which is really in different parts of the world, if even symbolically, Israel can be boycotted in different ways. Academic boycott of, say, the workers to unload ships, which was happening in South Africa recently. What it is going to do is what you said. It will raise the temperature all over the world, and Israel will become a divisive force in all societies. Do you support what is happening in Israel? Do you not? And I think that's the kind of thing that we can build up.
You know, after this Gaza thing, what we witnessed was boycott of the Israeli ships, let's say, in South Africa, which is expected. You have progressive, very strong trade union movement, fair enough. But Norway, Italy, and now any number of progressive trade unions in the United States passing all sorts of resolutions, against. So again, it is not that these actions will somehow smoothly lead to changes in government policy, except in countries like South Africa. In the West, that's not what's going to happen. But precisely that you embarrass the government. If you stop a shipment of US Israeli arms, it may appear like a small action. Or if you start looking at the kind of relationships our cultural organizations, our universities, our academic institutions have developed with Israel, very quietly, but it's all over the place. You identify particular spots where the whole issue of the academic boycott of Israel can be raised in terms of international conferences, in terms of the life in our universities and so on and so forth. Those kinds of activities puts the establishment on the spot.
So I think we have covered a large ground today. Let me end up on an almost crystal ball kind of question. 10 years? What do you give? 15 years? What do you give Israeli apartheid?
My sense is that the kind of crisis that they are faced with, and by they I mean the US-Israeli axis, I do not see how this can be sustained over 10, 15 years. My fear actually is what happens during these 10, 15 years. I really believe that the barbarity of the Israeli state will increase in direct proportions to how deeply they get caught. So it is the deepening of the crisis. My sense is that the deepening of the crisis of the US in West Asia, combined with the kind of crisis of Israeli politics that we have been talking about, has made it unsustainable over, let's say, a period of 15 years.
So on that note, Ijaz, I think we can conclude this session and we can pick this up later, specific parts of it sometime later.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks.